Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the ECAC's Marvel Rivals Open Collegiate Tournament. I'm your caster Inferno, joined once again by my fellow caster Althea and our observer Beldia. How are you doing tonight, Althea?
I'm doing pretty good. Excited to hop into our last match for the ladder tournament here. We are looking at two fairly good teams tonight. On the blue team, we have CCNY Bacon, Egg, and Cheese. And they're on a current record of 9 and 15, so they've got a lot of experience in their belt, but looking for a bit more of a positive win rate after this game. They're going against Northwood, who is currently 6 and 4, so less games, only 10 played, but pretty positive win rate. So I'm excited to see what both these teams are going to bring to the table. Already we're seeing I believe right off the bat, it was a group ban from CCNY, followed by a Loki, and the Wolverine save is very important as well. Usually we see that banned.
We absolutely do, and Groot is not going to be in play this time, but Wolverine still does incredible damage to those tanks. The Bucky ban from Northwood, pretty standard as well, at least for this season, this meta. Bucky certainly is one of the best DPS. There is no doubt about it. And
We saw Bucky.
The last ban is.
We saw Bucky doing a lot of work yesterday. It felt like almost every single game we were seeing one. Big pulls all around. And once again, I feel like this is something we've seen in the past. I think we've seen Northwood play. And I think they had a Mr. Fantastic. And then CCNY or the other team just target banned. And I guess they can look at their profiles and maybe see Squid Bro as a big Mr. Fantastic player or something. But I definitely don't think that was just a stray ban. I definitely think that was some kind of target.
Yeah, especially with Squid Bro, I believe, hovering that Mr. Fantastic. It looked a little more targety than not, honestly. But maybe that's just CCMY doing their homework, knowing what Northwood likes to run, and just getting ahead of the game. I like it, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Looking at the team comps, we see CCNY possibly running with this triple support, as well as Northwood rocking instead for the pretty usual 2-2-2, and that's very standard, very go-to. Wondering how it'll pair, though, into this 2-2-2, especially with their opting for the double DPS little tank. Usually we see that double tank pick, usually the Strange Magneto. But, however, this time we're just going to be seeing the Strange, which should open up more DPS opportunities.
Absolutely could. With just that solo Vanguard, I mean, Strange able to take a lot of damage with that shield. But once that goes down, if you don't have those kills, I fear that the damage will start to come through from Northwood, as it already is coming down. I believe that's Darkest on that Hela, landing these nice shots onto the opposition already on that high ground. Be taken down, but nevertheless still landing incredible shots. Great suppressing fire, and that will have Northwood taking it first.
Yeah, pretty uncontested from CCNY as well. Just seeing Northwood kind of walk forward with these two tanks taking this space, and it really seems like CCNY is not putting any pressure at all. I Am White will fall, get rezzed, and then fall again.
Yeah, very unfortunate. You hate to see it. I believe Northwood just got a little too aggressive there. CCNY was just not ready for it right away. Here we're seeing it even further. Just Joe in the back with these haymakers, putting some good pressure. We're seeing some picks come through as well. Very close to the spawn door. CCNY might have to make some swaps in spawn here.
Yeah, I mean, right now, if you're CCNY, you're back pretty far into a corner, right around the spawn choke. Very aggressive for Northwood to hold. It's not something we see too often unless the defending team is kind of struggling. Very nice Meteor M there, followed up by a Clobber in time. It looks like that's going to be another clean onto CCNY, and like you mentioned, we're going to need to start seeing some picks. We're several fights in, 60%, and we haven't seen any swaps.
Yeah, it's certainly pretty hard here. We have Northwood in this very aggressive position, holding at the kind of first choke right outside of CCMY's spawn. I mean, they're going to have to do whatever they got to. If that's use an ult or two to get through here, they have to start pushing Northwood back. As we're seeing Joe and Faustus get even more aggressive. There we see the punish onto Faustus. But Joe and Squid Bro starting to capitalize on the disrupt.
And now we see, I mean, I don't know if it's needed, but we see 3 ults come out from Northwood, and they do get that secure. But that's going to be a 100% to 0 there from CCNY, and I don't even know if there was a pick on the side of CCNY. Looking a little rough. They do, however, I think they're sitting on all 6 of their ultimates right now. No, they did pop that Meteor M. But still, I'm surprised they possibly could have. I was going to say they maybe could have gotten a Strange Portal down, but no, because of just how far Northwood was up and playing. They easily could have contested it. Just really rough, and I'm really unsure why we haven't seen any swaps. We did see this Magneto to bring this double tank instead of double DPS. I believe that was off of the Namor. Maybe just for some greater survivability, but yeah, I'm unsure what CCNY is going for here.
Yeah, like you said, they do have these ults in the pocket now. I would hopefully expect this first fight to go CCNY's way. Started off with that Rocket Sia, and then I Am White can pop the final judgment and just rain absolute hellfire onto Northwood from a distance even. Don't even have to get too close. But we will see what they choose to do here, as Joe does have that clobbering time and is in a very forward spot. Still trying to figure it out. There it is. Comes out invisible boundary as a response from Sicky Samsic. That's how we like to see it. Northwood starting to cap this point. Sean did pop that Fate of Both Worlds, and that will be the progress going Northwood's way.
Yeah, we're seeing all of CCNY's ults pop now. 4 of them. Big shutdown from Faustus, though, with that Meteor M, finding 2 for the cancel. And now we see CCNY on this point, finding a few more picks, but it's not guaranteed in their favor, and it's still ticking up. Wezu finds some nice picks, though, and it looks like that final pick on the Faustus, we will see CCNY finally cap this.
Absolutely. I mean, not for nothing. They had to use a lot of those ults that they had built up. But like we expected, that fight did end up going their way. Not before Northwood got a sneaky 22% out of it, though. I mean, that is all you could hope for if the opponents are committing 5 ults. I mean, just getting that percentage is crucial.
Yeah, and I mean, we see this from teams. They commit so many resources to getting into the point that they're not going to have enough to hold it. Right now, all we have is Surge's Meteor M, but I mean, a Namor ult and a Hela ult is going to do wonders with no supports to counter it.
There we did see it come out. Yeah, I don't know what the target was. Unfortunately, not finding much. And Northwood will have a nice pass right back onto point with maybe a little not needed clobbering time, but maybe just to make sure.
Yeah, I think they checked their watch and it was the wrong time, but just Joe was just getting a little anxious to get in there. We do see Wezu pop in this portal, and I think we're going to see Northwood possibly get aggressive on it. They know it's coming down, so right now is about where they back up and play for it. Going for this back high ground, definitely going to be a smart choice, especially with this Punisher, maybe being able to set up with that turret. Strange is kind of alone in the back line on point now.
He absolutely is. Brayden did have to commit that Eternal Bond on point. Wezu does have that Eye of Agamotto falling critically low. Faustus, Meteor M will not find much. Northwood now the ones committing the ults. Couple burned for this fight, but they are winning right now, I think. With a nice pick from White onto Squid Bro. And a final judgment pop. Now looking towards the point. Everyone's gonna have to scatter. And that is a good fight from CCNY to take back the point.
Yeah, only really needing to commit that Punisher ult for the retake. We did see the Rocket ult, I think, earlier. We still have this Eye of Agamotto. We still have the Luna Snow ult. Gonna be really good to be able to hold it. However, most of the team is already dead. I don't think Northwood's gonna even need to commit much. And that's just gonna be a flip right back. It seemed like most of CCNY had died just taking that in the first place. And now we're going to see, I think, just Joe going with this interesting flank with clobbering time. Could be huge, but this Luna Snow ult is going to counter and likely let CCNY get this touch.
Oh, not quite. Clobbering time did stop. Oh, and the
Oh.
touch from Shivami Timba's just out of range. And that will be Northwood taking Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda 2-0.
And that's definitely unfortunate to see from CCNY because did we see really any swaps in general? It felt like they just were running that same comp, didn't make too many adaptations, especially in that first map. You're going that full distance and switching nothing. I mean, I think the only swaps we got were off of one support to another. Still rocking with this triple support comp. I don't know if it's working out. I mean, the 2-2-2 is pretty standard, and the triple support definitely can work, but it just feels like the tanks maybe just aren't doing enough. I feel like with a double shield, it doesn't work as well unless you have that extra damage going out, and I think a single Punisher just isn't enough to do that. Northwood's comp as well, running this Hela and this Namor, a lot of long range damage, a lot of just disruption in the backline, from way back from the backline, while you have just Joe and Faustus just playing up, playing aggressive with the shields and the just taking so much damage. It's really hard to get through that. And we could see that from CCNY's performance.
Absolutely. And like you said, I mean, CCNY might have to, instead of going for just the hero swaps, have to go for a complete comp swap here and maybe favor that 2-2-2. It is a little more balanced. They're sacrificing some of those heals, but will have obviously a more rounded team comp. Or, I mean, we've seen some play from, I believe it was Purdue even, running a triple Vanguard, two strategists and one duelist, which, I mean, it could work. It absolutely could work if you don't want to go for that 2-2-2. There are other options, but like you said, I think they just don't have the damage output with the three strategists against Northwood's team.
Yeah, and important to note with the three Vanguard, like when we saw that from I think it was two separate teams on two different occasions. One of them was running a Magneto and a Strange, the double shield, pretty classic, but then also had the Thing, who was playing
Mhm.
really aggressive and able to capitalize on the shields. They're just taking free space. And then the other one was a Venom. So it's really just playing around damage and distraction, and it's not a matter of just having three tanks. There is a strategy behind it. That's
Mhm.
something that I feel like is important to notice compared to this triple support. I mean, you're going to be having a whole lot of healing, but you got to make a good balance of the heals and the damage. And clearly, even with triple support, if CCNY is dying this much, something's not working.
Absolutely, and we will see what the next save and ban phase is going to look like. I think if you're CCMY, you might want to just get rid of that Hela. We saw some pretty strong play. Oh, I think we're getting a quick match remake. But yeah,
Yeah, I think
CCMY under constant pressure from that Hela, I feel. The Magneto ban could be very big. I mean, Northwood was just playing seemingly out of their minds on that first one. And I think CCNY will just have to respond harder in the second map.
something else I'm just want to point out, we saw a Wolverine save and not a single Wolverine pick, especially into
Mhm.
a game where you know that the tanks are being such a big issue, like that Magneto. It's not going to work into the Thing, and that could be the reason they chose against that. But I mean, well, why are you wasting that save on something that you know you're not going to run? You know?
Yeah, I liked the Wolverine save, but right before it was that group ban from them. And I feel like Wolverine, you go for that save when it doesn't get that ban in the first round, just because of that hard counter. Not that Wolverine does not play well into all the tanks, all the vanguards, because he does. But Groot is just, a special place. That's where you're getting your money from. I think I think actually a Wolverine swap there might have done work for them. Just having that extra pressure on the tanks instead of that triple strategist that they had. Two duelists with one of them being the Wolverine, I think could do some great work for CCMY.
For sure. And important to note too, the Wolverine being a really good tank counter. The other one we usually see is occasionally the Bucky. It obviously a Bucky does a lot of damage, but the hook
Mm.
is what really matters. Just getting that tank out of position, combined with the Groot as well, wall them off. Wolverine pull with the Groot. So seeing that Groot ban, that already just cuts those combos in half, makes it harder to target these tanks. It's really not worth it to focus them when you can have maybe a more dive-esque comp for the supports. And so that's why I'm wondering, the Groot gets banned, and yet you're still picking the Wolverine, which can be acceptable. The Bucky's banned as well. So now you're just left with this Wolverine to do the work. And even though it definitely can, you're still not picking it. So
Mm.
I think that it can definitely be used for these teams in a good fashion. And like you said, I'm definitely think that could have made the difference there. One thing to point out real quick, we did have a swap sides as we need to make sure the teams are on the right attack and defense. So CCNY in orange, Northwood on blue. Another side note, I believe we saw Shiv subbed out for Gibbonator now for CCNY, looking to make a few swaps to their team. Just trying to maybe identify a possible role swap. Maybe they had 3 supports, looking for those 2 maybe instead, looking for more damage.
Absolutely, or could just play better on a certain hero on a certain map with a certain comp. I mean, that's why these teams have these subs so they can make the swaps as needed. And we will see what Givinator will bring to the table in this match. We're starting off with a Magneto ban from CCMY. Like I said, kind of a little expected. We saw Magneto going pretty huge in that last one. A Loki ban from Northwood is also pretty standard.
For sure, the Magneto ban, definitely a big issue. Northwood opting for no save. I'm surprised. We saw Squid Bro hovering this Mr. Fantastic. I'm wondering if they might ban it again from CCNY. I mean, wasn't too much of a concern last game, obviously, as it wasn't banned. And we see this Wolverine pick again. I'm scared to see if we'll see a Groot ban as well. So I mean, you're
Yeah,
saving
we
the
will see.
counter to a hero
Mhm.
that you might just be taking out. I'm expecting either a Groot or possibly the Mr. Fantastic here. Namor though, I think that's a good pick. We saw, I
Absolutely.
believe it was Braden doing most of the work on that. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I do not remember who it was now, but the Loki and the Rocket bans for Northwood, taking out 2 of those strategists, and CCMY with the Magneto Namor ban. I think those are definitely some good response picks. I would have liked to see that Hella, but they're going to opt for that Namor.
Yeah, and this is now going to leave this Bucky open. We saw I'm hovering that for a second between the Black Panther, unsure. We will see that, and I do think on the attack that can make a big difference in the right hands. I'm really excited to see what Northwood is going to pull off now. We will get to see Squidbro on, I believe, their main of this Mr. Fantastic. Possibly a Hulk pick on either side as well. Definitely not a common occurrence.
Not too much anymore. You don't see it just as much. That Hulk smash is one of the better ults in the game for contesting. You get that large HP pool. You can just push people around. Becomes a little annoying to deal with once you're trying to just get him and him alone off the point. As well as that Gamma Charge team up with Doctor Strange and Iron Man. We don't see the Iron Man here, but both Stranges will have that team up available.
We will see Braden on this Hawkeye as well, and I think that Gibbonator, the shield will do work on that, making sure to prevent those one-shots, but it definitely does open it, and I know Wezu is going to have a very hard HP problem when exposed to that. And already we see Squidbro up, getting aggressive. We're finding a nice headshot onto Surges.
It absolutely was. Givinator will find Squidbro caught out just a little bit. Another nicely placed shot from Braden will claim Givinator. Nice uppercut. The combo almost landed for I Am White, but Braden will shut him down yet again. Some nice picks onto the strategist, however. Surges, as well as Wez, doing work.
I thought it was over, but I don't know if they took the cliff route or just got aggressive, but we see Surges and Wezu playing really nice on this point now. And I think it's just a DPS Hulk 1v1. Oh, the exile, the skill, the health back. That's something.
It absolutely is. Wez still putting this pressure on. Darkus will fall. They do have the Strange Portal back from Joe. But will it be enough? We do see the tanks get back and Squidbro. But yeah, I think CCMY just might have the numbers here, as well as the ultimates.
Yeah, I'm White finding 2 now with this, or I think it was 3. Pretty nice take there from CCNY. It was looking a little rough, but they seemed to get what they needed to push through that with the help of Surges and Wezu just playing this aggressive comp how it's to be played. And that's really awesome to see. Northwood making the swap, I think, now to this Hela, and keeping Braden swapping over off of the Hawkeye, actually, to the Luna Snow now.
Yeah, we're seeing a nice flank here. We're seeing Wez take a lot of space on this Hulk, just jumping around, being a big HP pool in the way of Northwood. And then as everyone's looking at him, Surges strikes from the back. I mean, the Black Panther is actually a beautiful pick here from Surges. Finding Braden yet again. Bass Descent comes down, finds Sean as well. And there we're seeing CCNY find more of these picks, as Joe did commit that Eye of Agamotto. This is starting to look a little shady here for Northwood even.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a 4v6 almost, or 2v6 that they were trying to commit that Eye of Agamotto. I like the aggression, but I don't know if it was the wisest play. I think if we saw that in a little more coordinated fashion, it could have been good. So I do think it hit the supports. That's
Givinator. I don't think it came up too huge, especially with the ulting Braden. Fate of both worlds. Darkus will find Sicky in the sky, as now Northwood is putting on the brakes, stopping this push from CCMY.
Yeah, and with Sicky down, the tanks are going to be taking a lot more damage now, as well as Just Joe on this thing. That's going to allow for a very aggressive play, much more than the Strange at least. Getting in there, causing some damage, as well as just jumping out fairly easily. And in combination with the Hulk, you have somebody to jump to and jump to in the fight, as well as allowing yourself to use that dash instead to get out, as usually that's the initiator. So I do think that I like this kind of boxing combo we see Northwood with now.
I agree. I mean, Faustus committing that Hulk smash, like I said, that massive HP pool, I mean, is certainly a tougher target to deal with. Eternal Bond from Sean coming out. The Brainiac bounce from Squidbro as well. Northwood committing the ults here and winning the fight as a result, leaving CCMY to respond with ults of their own.
Yeah, we will see Wezu go to this banner now, and I think they'll stay alive. They're going to need quite a minute now. Just, that's honestly better, having to stall and wait out to get this whole thing just respawn and having it. Old-wise, though, we're really only seeing none across the board right now, but a few 90s. The closest we got from Northwood is the Hela ult and the Luna. And then we also got this Luna and Fast Descent from Surges on the other side. But we will actually soon have Gibbonator, who's the only one with the Eye of Agamotto available now, and I think that'll make a game-changing ultimate on the attack.
Darkus found a nice opening pick onto I Am White there. Wezu and Surge is in the back, causing some havoc. Squidbro did find Sicky, but with this push from Surges and Wezu, I'm not sure if Northwood will even be able to contest this, as they have their members on the point, just outside the choke. But Brayden with a Fate of Both Worlds at 0.03 meters to stop it, as the contest will come through from Northwood now.
These are some nice
Eye of
picks,
Agamotto
though.
from Gibbinator did wind up being huge, but Squidbro on the Mr. Fantastic, as well as the rest of Northwood, starting to put up some defense here.
Make sure you don't step off that point, though. Oh, that's good.
And not even for a second. The Hulk smash from Faustus did come out, being a contest machine. A strange portal we just saw from Gibbinator, I believe, trying to get everyone back. Oh no, that was Brayden, I think. I don't even know. There's two strange portals now. They're both up. This fight is going back and forth every which way. Northwood seems to be up on point. Oh, a nice execute from Brayden, however, will put Northwood way up, and that will be it, stopping them at 0.03 meters before that capture there.
Yeah, that's really surprising. I mean, shout out to Northwood. I don't remember which of the Luna player, who the Luna player was, but I mean, literally one frame later, that would not have been a contest. We would have been fighting for third point now. And that is just a phenomenal save, as well as the hold from Northwood. I think we saw Squidbro getting a lot of those nice picks in the fight and really showing what that Mr. Fantastic pick can do. I like, not to mention I mentioned the boxing comp Northwood was running. They literally, I forgot about the Mr. Fantastic too. So they have the Hulk, the Thing, and Mr. Fantastic, not to mention now an Iron Fist. Really just going for this full melee build on all of these members.
Absolutely. I would be surprised if the Iron Fist does stay. Brayden might be swapping back to that Luna Snow, I think. Certainly doing pretty well this game. Northwood with quite the stop right before that second point there. Looking to just full hold here, or CCMY looking to full hold here.
This might be my imagination talking, but I feel like we could see each of these members, no more of Squidbro on that, but I was going to say, I think we could see each of these members going around the cliff here and going on that side route, using some jumps and dashes and stuff, but I don't know if that Luna's able to make it. We'll see.
Looks like Faustus. Yeah, eyeing it up. Thinking about it. Should he? Should he not? Should he? Should he not? All right. And then... That was perfect. Thank you, Faustus. I'll slip him the 20 for being that actor afterwards. Don't worry. We pay him. CCMY. Pushing up a bit now, trying to take the fight to Northwood. Sean and Squidbro backing up just a little bit, trying to keep everyone alive. Faustus did come back, but I Am White on the Wolverine will find the pick, sending him right back to spawn. I'm liking this Wolverine pick. I am, from I Am White.
Yeah, we're seeing CCNY finally put this Wolverine save to advantage. I don't know what I'm saying. Sean and Jojo Olton now. Big Wolverine out there from I Am White. And like I was just saying, it's good to see CCNY put this Wolverine to use, using that save and actually getting the value out of it now after about 2.5 maths. And we're seeing Darkus maybe fighting second point. Little interesting. But maybe that'll give Northwood the space they need. I'm unsure. We see a few swaps though from Northwood, very quick off the bat. Like Brayden on this Star-Lord, I think is going to do work against Wezu.
We saw a very bold Bass descent there, coming out from Surges. Picks now from CCMY, however, I Am White starting to put up some numbers on this Wolverine. Exactly like we were saying, what they might have been able to get away with last game. Fastball special. No passive for Wolverine, I thought. No, does have it. It did proc. I Am White, get out of there. Will end up falling to Sean. The homing missile will claim it. Now Northwood up in numbers. Going to be looking to push onto this point. Aya Agamotto, however, did come out. Darkest with a massive goddess of death in the sky, claiming lives, and that will be Northwood taking this first point.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I think we saw that kill through Siki Samek's Cloak and Dagger ult, and that's not something I couldn't even know happened. So we get a very big Strange portal into an even better clobbering time, I think, from Just Joe. And I mean, wow, second team kill just like that, and you're giving Northwood the space with the portal too. That's even that's even worse.
Yeah, that is very unfortunate. It would have been more devastating if there were some CCMY members caught out in that, but I think all of them died with that clobbering time from Just Joe. That was a great counterplay to that Strange portal. We will see Northwood now on second point. This is where they held CCMY. What will they do differently?
Big clobbering time early, but does get answered by Brayden with this snow wall. Dancing to keep the team up.
Come down.
Yeah, that is a little late, but we'll keep the team in it for now. As we do see this invisible boundary down from Razkov. And that's going to be the aggression CCNY need to get the picks they need, pushing all the way back into spawn and recognizing, okay, now we can fall back a bit. We won this one, let's reallocate for the next fight. Gonna have this Cloak ult as well as this Star-Lord ultimate, and no supports to answer with if you're Northwood. That's gonna be tough. We see this flank right now, we're gonna see it come down just now.
Ooh, the Galactic Legend. We have ults on both sides. The Brainiac bound Squid Bro. Surge is finding just a little bit more value in the sky, and that will be CCMY with a nice defend. And yeah, I mean, certainly had to commit something to it. Siki and Surge is down in ultimate now. But you do stop the momentum Northwood had, as well as start to drain down this time bank. It's just now going to have to fall into playing with these ults well, as one did just come out from Wes.
He's Cloak getting real aggressive. Ooh.
Oh, that is a massive blunder there. I believe we saw Givinator's Eye of Agamotto get canceled, refunded the 50. Northwood doing a pretty good attack right now. I mean, this is looking...
Does Surges get out of this? Place your bets now. They need to contest. Yeah. I mean, you're seeing big enough of a distraction, at least, but
Darkest.
They need to get there for the touch. Will that be a mistake? Just Joe finding both supports with one haymaker.
Absolutely, that is as big as it can get. Exactly what you'd want from your tank, and that will be Northwood completely dismantling CCMY there on that second point, right at that last push. That was beautiful work from the side of Northwood.
Yeah, getting some really nice picks, nice aggression, and nice swap. CNY trying to find some answers, but just couldn't. I really liked the Groot pick at the end there from Northwood as well. Just really pulling that out, and I believe it was them who was running the Wolverine as well. It was CCNY running the Wolverine and Northwood picking the Groot into it, not afraid, just knowing these walls are going to do some work. And we definitely saw that as CCNY didn't have enough wall break to deal with it. And I think that kind of what led Northwood to that victory. Let Joe get much more aggressive with those walls. And we can see that as the MVP, 37-7. Very impressive 2-0 victory from Northwood. I definitely think CCNY had some potential, but just need to focus, I'm going to say, just on their picks a little bit more. Make some swaps. That first map, you lost an entire point that definitely could have at least been fought for a little bit more. Like after the third or fourth fight, maybe it's time to swap off the triple support and find some other answers. And we did see that in the later games, though, with making some
Mm.
substitutions and definitely showed a pretty nice attack as well. I just think it maybe wasn't in time, and had it been earlier, definitely could have stood a little more of a chance.
Absolutely. I mean, CCMY, we saw the swaps coming through in the second map. Did look a lot better, but Northwood just a little too good today. Definitely brought their A game, looking to make their record as good as they can get it before we head into our bracket, as this is the last day for ladder. Yeah.
Yeah, these teams are going to be playing pretty aggressive, playing the best they can, as today is the last, I guess, placement day to get where they want to. So, yeah, these teams are going to be playing nice. And for now, we're going to take a short break while we find our next two teams. Hopefully, it'll be an exciting one, and we'll see you guys in just a few minutes. Welcome back to our second and likely last match of the night. Hopefully, it's an exciting one. And looking at the scores, I think it will be. On the blue team, or sorry, the orange team, we're going to be following Northwood off of their back of the win. Currently now 7-4. They're going to be facing off on the blue team against UTSA Orange on a current record of 6-5. I believe we saw them yesterday, if not last week. Both of these teams looking pretty good. I'm excited to see what they run, and it's always fun seeing a team more than once in a night, so we can see what kind of adaptations they make between the games.
Absolutely, and I mean, coming off that win, Northwood gonna be looking to just make it 2 right away. UTSA actually skipping that save. I mean, that's a curious one. I mean, might as well just save whatever you'd like, you know. We see the Magneto save from certainly a good one. One of the stronger vanguards right now for sure.
Definitely,
we'll
and
these last 2 bands.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it UTSA Orange who played against Sac State last night?
I don't believe that was them. Was it?
Are you sure? Because I remember Achilles. Maybe not.
Yeah,
but...
I thought SAC was MSU.
Oh, okay. Well, still, pretty good teams.
UTSA,
both positive win rate.
They played against UH Solaris. And ended up winning that one 2-0.
Well, yeah, looking at these picks and bans here, we see Northwood rocking with that group ban again, banning the Loki, as well as keeping this Magneto up. And then we're also going to see UTSA Orange banning the Namor, which is definitely a sign that they're running some flank heroes, and we see that already with the Harthian on the Spider-Man, as well as Achilles on the Venom for the team up and just the dive in general.
Absolutely. That symbiote bond, one of the better team ups for the... I mean, Spider-Man goes in, gets that nice combo. When you add that in as well, you can get some pretty nice executes very fast and then be able to have a quick getaway, make it like you weren't even there, leaving the enemy team down 1, and UTSA could be completely winning in a fight by that point. On the other hand, Northwood, we will see the dimensional shortcut out of BXAT and Darkest, enabling that Psylocke to rewind time, play a lot more aggressive, because you have that escape.
Yeah, definitely one of the stronger team-ups. And important to note, too, Just Joe on the thing. Whoa, quick picks from BXAT in the back line with Darkest. Can't even get my sentence out. I was going to say, Just Joe's going to do work against this Strange, just punching through that shield. But not to mention BXAT as well with that melee. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some swaps from UTSA right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, we saw BXAT there go right in, find those 2 picks immediately onto the strategist. Great targeting from BXAT. Darkest now finding Achilles way before this next fight is even going to start. UTSA is just down 1 member right now. Forced to give it just a second. Down another as BXAT will find Harthian. Evil responds with a pick of their own. The UTSA not in the best spot, I feel.
It seems like we're just seeing these picks kind of go back and forth. It feels like at the start UTSA is getting a little something, but Northwood just executes. I think the downside of running this dive is Luminous and Digit are really exposed. And I think that's probably why we see... I mean, Eagles in this turret doing some work, but I don't know. They need a little more protection. But here we see UTSA Orange playing together a lot better. You can see that now as they're getting some nice picks.
They absolutely are. They were playing in that back there underneath the roof, taking cover, had the Punisher turret up. Evil was just laying down the suppressing fire. Just Joe and Squidbro had to get out of the way. And that kind of helped open up the door for UTSA there. I'm curious as to where Evil's going to set up next, as I'm sure we're going to see that turret play again. Actually, a final judgment coming out. Dance of the Butterflies to try to counter. Will come through with the pick. Eternal Bond and the Invisible Boundary are also on the field. Eye of Agamotto from Balshit. Didn't find too many. As now we have BXAT with that Darkchild popped. Finding kills through the Invisible Boundary. As that will be Northwood cleaning up this fight.
Yeah, taking a pretty quick retake there. And we see that as UTSA at the start, committing a lot of ults and it not working out. And they do have this Venom ult. Doesn't make too big of a difference. Not one of those game changers. Just good for being some survivability in contest. Digit, however, it's going to need to time this right. I think it could be pretty big to counter this clobber in time. However, I think we will see the Magneto from Squidbro as a good counter. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that splat Digit down.
Absolutely, we see it coming through right now. Fate of both worlds. Achilles finding the picks now. We have the Dance of the Butterflies coming out from Darkest at the back end of that fight once the Fate of both worlds goes down. Finding great damage. Balshit forced the retreat, hit a health pack. As the picks from the Spider duo on point are starting to come through. But not all the way, as Northwood is still fighting for this.
Yeah, I mean, it's not over yet, and I mean, I'm eating my words now. UTSA Orange just not able to make that final cap, not able to make the swaps they needed, and once again, I think it's that mix of dive just not working out, especially in a map like this. Northwood is going to be playing very together, very condensed, and it's just not... You're not going to find those openings like you would. You're not going to see the supports go unprotected. And that's something that we saw from UTSA Orange's team. At the very, very start of that, we immediately saw Harthian and Achilles dive into the back line, leaving Luminos and Digit wide open, and then immediately executed from BXAT and Darkest. And that's just something, that's the major difference here. We're seeing Northwood's dive just do it a little bit better, and I think it's because of the protection. You see the Thing and the Magneto playing really close with their supports, and they're acting as great protection, not going to let a simple Spider-Man get in there, compared to a single Strange is not going to be able to provide that protection. And I think that's the major difference, and that's why I do like to see just a few swaps. Evil playing a little more maneuverability, as well as the swap to the Cloak and Dagger for, I think, some more survivability as well.
Absolutely. We see Squidbro finding a very crucial first pick onto Digit. UTSA down a strategist, committing the spectacular spin from Hart. Trying to do what they can to put up some contest. BXAT with another Darkchild out and about. Evil will get picked up. As they're starting to push back some of the members, looking for that strategist. Darkest finds, and Northwood will start capping that point.
Yeah, again, Northwood with a pretty quick cap. Very good backline pressure from BXAT. We saw it there in the Darkchild. You're watching BXAT dive in the backline with that, and all she can do is just hold up that shield. There's just nothing they can do to help out the Invisible Woman or one of the supports in that, compared to the Magneto shield or the damage reduction from the Thing.
Dance of the Butterflies did come down from Darkest. No picks just yet. Just Joe now with 2 of his own. Make it 3. Throwing some haymakers and a clobbering time. Committing everything, but finding the picks to back it up. Northwood now outside of UTSA's spawn doors. Doing maybe just a little bit of camping before starting to back up now.
Yeah, 50%. I do like finally seeing Achilles swapping this Magneto. Hopefully he's going to allow the team to be very much more centered, less dive-oriented, and orient towards this brawl-type gameplay. Both of these invisible boundaries come out, and I think we already see UTSA Orange winning this fight.
Ooh, that was a nice pick from Evil, using that E ability there to find the pick onto a, I believe it was Squidbro with that Meteor M in the sky. That was a beautiful pick. And that is UTSA storming back that point.
Yeah, not to mention Northwood's DPS way in the back. Basically, I'm not going to say eating because they just kind of got stuck there. But definitely going to disrupt Northwood's retake. Dance of Butterflies find out is going to find one of the supports. Don't know how committed that needed to be, but still, that's going to be a pretty decent hold now from UTSA Orange. And I like these swaps they made, and it's really working out for them now. I wouldn't be surprised if it stays the same, and if it does, is Northwood going to be able to find the appropriate responses as well?
Absolutely, as we see almost a mirror swap. UTSA getting aggressive by Northwood spawn. Darkchild will come out from BXAT on the point, finding Lumios. Nice targeting. Eye of Agamotto from Balsheet, though, onto the rest of Northwood. Great contest ult, but will it be enough as he's critically low? Will start to get healed up. The Psylocks finding the picks for either team right now as they continue, but Darkest finds Hearthian. Oh, will it be enough? Will it be enough for Northwood? UTSA now above in percentage as a Galactic Legend comes down as well. As well as this Eternal Bond. This fight is lasting forever, it seems.
Yeah, and now it seems like both teams are now fully up and ready, back on this point. Clobbering Time finds 3. No picks followed up. Invisible Boundary comes out. Hearthian with this Dance of the Butterflies. It's going to find Squid Bro, and with the tank down, it's going to look tough. That's 2 for Northwood. Dance of the Butterflies now from Darkest finds none because of
Nothing, I believe.
Because of Luminos' support ult, and that's a lot of resources spent from UTSA, but it's just the right amount to get that cap back from Northwood. And I really like that flip point there. Definitely, that's what I wanted to see. I definitely think UTSA Orange with their stats can play much better than they were, and I like to see that they made the swaps, recognized what was happening, and now we're seeing it go a little bit more in their favor. And now all I ask for is Northwood makes the appropriate swaps as well, and then we can see a real game get going here.
I actually don't know what swaps these teams could opt for. I mean, it looks like they're just playing the best comps they could right now into each other. And just it so happened that UTSA pulling the trigger at the right moment, finding the picks when they needed to, and Northwood did fall on that second round. Maybe we could see. Yeah, I'm just not even sure. Northwood, I mean just look a little locked in on this team.
I know I said some possible swaps, but really, I think the thing is working well into this double shield. I think the part that it's going to struggle with is both of these supports have, both of UTSA's supports have great escapes as well as the DPS. So I think Joe is just going to be lacking a little bit, and I think that's where we might see a little more value from the Strange pick instead. But still, I'm not underestimating Joe on this thing. We saw the power it brings last time. Lumino's getting caught out with that Haymaker. Jug on point proved me wrong, as Northwood is going to make a pretty efficient take here. She just looking for this contest.
They are. I mean, we see the target priority coming out from BXAT and Darkest. That rollout immediately to take down Evil. They started finding the picks right away. I mean, Northwood locking in a bit. I don't think we're going to see any more spawn door holding, any more ults committed up there, but you might see one here from Joe as Orange is starting to get a little aggressive. Joe's starting to hover it, has that dash into the back, has it up. There it is, committed. Will land 3. Will it be enough to get the picks, however?
Oh,
Digit Squid Bro with a nicely placed Meteor M to find the pick as well. Now we'll leave Northwood in the driver's seat here.
Yeah, one thing I was just in the back of my mind was I like the idea of Squidbro using this Meteor M to counter Evil's ultimate, but I feel like Faustus is just going to throw down the Invisible Boundary as well for the double stack, and we did see that. Hearthian, I'm surprised that caught VX8 Darkchild. That was way out of it, but still, fantastic pick. double stack supportable. Oh, no, not even, sorry. Visible boundary from Digit. So it's now both teams just fighting in these support ults. Dance the Butterflies comes out from Darkest. It's going to find Digit as well. Eye of Agamotto comes out, finds 3. And that's going to be, I think, the cleanup.
That you had, I mean, hero of the day there, or at least the fight, I believe went over the top with that Eye of Agamotto, landed 3, and that will put them up in the fight, turning the table now at 79%. They're gonna have to do some work here defending to start to match that progress.
And you know, I was looking at the top, and I was going to say the usual thing of they committed a lot to take that. Are they going to be able to hold it? But Northwood committed a lot trying to hold that. Now both teams really only have one ultimate. It's looking fairly balanced. I think the one thing is we're just going to see Faustus's invisible boundary up way sooner. But typically, especially at like a 30%, using that ult much sooner is going to leave overtime down without it. So I'm interested to see how it'll end up working out with the balance of the ultimates, how they're used. We have a legendary coming out now.
Yeah, the Galactic Legend from Evil in the sky, causing some disrupt. Did find both of the strategists for Northwood. Did, however, get picked, but I just don't know if it'll be enough at the time. Northwood still needs to regroup and get this push going. UTSA is doing a really good job right now holding the door. A nice dance to the Butterflies.
She finds Joe as well, and we're going to see UTSA push out. Darkchild comes out from BXAT, finds 2. One of them being Luminos. That's going to be tough. Meteor M comes out. It's going to go down to the melee.
Yes, did find that pick. That was a beautiful play from BXAT there. Able to win the fight for Northwood. UTSA did take the lead there, but Northwood not letting them go for long as they turn that table, flip that switch, and now being down a member.
No.
They do have the Strange Portal from Balsheet. Yeah, Hearthian will be able to catch this. The invisible boundary committed early. Faustus definitely used it second. Eye of Agamotto, however, from Balsheet, unable to find much in that invisible boundary. Is now the cleanup potentially from Darkest. Not going to happen just yet because of the Eternal Bond. Achilles even finding a first opening pick. As now the picks are coming through from UTSA. Northwood is in a bad position here.
Oh. We see this Galactic Legend come out from Evil. That's going to flip the point now in favor of UTSA. No ultimates left to work on either side. Portal will come out, though, and it's going to be one more overtime fight. Last-ditch effort here. Closest thing we can get is Sean with this ult, but Digit finds it, and we're just seeing UTSA clean up these picks. Last members of Northwood. The res with the Adam is going to be here for the contest, but it's just going to act as some more stat farming for UTSA. They managed to come back in a brilliant fashion on this first map, and that was just surprising to see.
It certainly was. I mean, UTSA going down that first round, really locking in with the swap picks. And we saw it right there, able to win the fight, use their Strange Portal to take it, and then defends Northwood's Strangest Portal. I mean, what more could you ask for? They definitely deserved that first round, this first map. We will see what Northwood has to respond going into the second.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we saw, like I was asking for, really, we saw Northwood doing a really good job on that attack. UTSA's not able to find the answers, stuck on that dive comp and just not finding the right things. But then we see the swap to the Magneto and a few of these other picks just to play up and more aggressive with the team. And that was really the pivotal moment where the game changed for UTSA. Northwood looking a little rough there on the second half. Oh, I won't even say rough. It was it was definitely neck and neck. It was 99 overtime on the last point. It just came down to the Strange Portal and the Ultimates used. I think it was just a matter of abilities in frame perfect moments. One small moment that I'll point out at the start of that, I believe we saw the Strange on Northwood get the Eye of Agamotto down and hit two of the supports in the support ultimate, and then Northwood had a Meteor M launched at the Strange, who had to put his shield up for just 1 second to block it, and that prevented the burst to kill the supports. Just putting up the shield for 1 second kept the opposing supports alive. And I think stuff like that, just one ultimate usage, canceling one ability, which keeps these supports up for one more second to gain a little more health. Just pivotal moments here. It's not a sweep here in this last fight, and I'm hoping for a long match here.
Absolutely. I could 100% see this going to a game 3. I mean, both of these teams here to play. Like we've mentioned many times, this is the last day, the last really 15 minutes of ladder play before these playoffs and this bracket is going to start taking place. And both of these teams want to get their record as good as it can possibly be before going into that. No one's going to want to lose here. Both teams at their peak performance right now, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I mean, both these teams looking pretty even, but Northwood has the 1 win advantage where they're 7-4. UTSA is 6-5. So if UTSA does take this, that'll level them out. Northwood obviously doesn't want that to happen. They don't want to go 7-5 like UTSA, winning to go 7-5. They want to move up in the ladder. I don't know if they'll have enough time to move all the way up in the bracket. I'll quickly take a quick look at where they am. Funny enough, actually, UTSA Orange is in the 16th spot. So I believe for the bracket in the top 16, they are fighting for their slot right now. Only 4 points behind the next team. And we can actually see that if I take a quick look at where Northwood is, they are in the 12th spot. So really, we see UTSA fighting for this 16th slot. If they lose this, they will likely drop into that 17th, and I don't know if they'll make the bracket or not, or at least go down a division. So they are fighting for their place here, and that's something that we like to see from these teams, playing for everything with something on the line.
Absolutely. It makes it just that much more impactful to get these kills, win these fights, track those ultimates. I mean, you just have to play almost perfect here. Pretty much fighting for their spot, we believe. And we definitely saw it there. Losing that first round, coming back incredibly stronger in the second half. And they ended up taking that map. And now all they have to do is maybe cap, maybe just do some great defending here, actually, as they're starting off. And they could potentially win this series in a 2-0 and secure that spot.
For sure. Again, like I don't know if Northwood would necessarily fall out of it, but at least staying in the top 12 is obviously better than the top 16. I don't have the full picture on how the bracket and how the placements will work after the ladder is fully locked and completed, but we will have to see. And I believe they don't start next week, but the matches will start the week after that on the I think it's the 11th or the 12th of
12th,
April.
I think. Yeah, right around there. That should be the time. We were talking a lot about that bracket. We didn't talk too much about the picks and bans or the saves and bans there. We saw, I believe it was North with the Groot ban as well as the Loki ban and the Magneto save. As we see Achilles on that pick right away. Or, I'm sorry, that was for Northwood. Squid Bro on it right away. And UTSA had the Bucky and the Magic ban. Like a counter to BXAT there with that Magic. As well as the Spider-Man save.
Yeah, saving the Spider-Man, yet locking that Namor. Maybe just playing some kind of mind games, but we see, I believe, the Northwood's exact same bans compared to UTSA now. Definitely getting that counter ban on that Magic, knowing that that was doing significant work. And here we see, I believe, these teams running almost the exact same comps. No Invisible Woman this, or I think at the end there wasn't. Maybe it was instead of the Luna. We see Evil now on the Hawkeye. Gonna do some work, especially into this thing. Now we can see Northwood pretty spread out around the side. Just looking to close in. Darkest will find Arthian.
Both of the picks, actually. Finding both of the secures onto the Vanguard. That is really great picks for the side of Northwood. They should have a nice walk right in, but UTSA not letting them. Evil with a nice pick onto Sean. Faustus as well fell. Strange portal back from Harthian, keeping UTSA's numbers at the max. Not going to want to let anyone down for too long. But Darkest wanting to send him right back to spawn.
Playing a phenomenal flank way in the back here, grabbing these health packs and getting the picks. It's definitely going to open up the opportunity for Northwood to push in here. Harthian falling real low, no supports to help. That's going to be 2 picks on the tanks of UTSA, and they're just going to be picking up the DPS. I have a feeling, depending on who's alive, we might possibly see a portal from Harthian, but no, I don't think there's anyone here to touch. Oh, yeah.
Just used it to get back that first time, yeah. Very unfortunate, because as soon as it was committed, I believe we had Darkest finding just a couple picks right as soon as the portal would disappear, I believe, after that respawn, which just sets Northwood up immensely. Oh, Digit finding that pick behind the Strange Shield. Not putting up enough cover for that Star-Lord. As UTSA is looking to defend here now.
That's not something I've seen. Was that just Joe flying up and holding the shield for the Star-Lord?
I think so. Putting up a little screen for him.
Definitely some great teamwork there. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. We're going to see both these Cloak and Dagger ults ready, as well as the Luna Snow now. On a support ults, as well as this Magneto. It's going to be, as well as the Eye of Agamotto's. It's going to be a pretty big ult fest, but DPS trades go both ways. Eye of Agamotto only found Faustus, but Harthian will get executed before they can find the pick. Luminos getting aggressive with this Cloak and Dagger ultimate.
Oh, but BXAT with the Horn of Proteus and Squidbro with the Meteor M finding their respective picks. And I think after all the ults come down, Northwood will walk away with it, get this payload moving a little bit more. But I think this next fight is just going to be as ult dense as that one was. We're about to see a lot more coming from UTSA. This Goddess of Death available for Evil. Digit fell with that Fate of Both Worlds, so we will see that one come out, I'm sure.
Yeah, Goddess of Death comes out now. Faustus is going to use this ultimate to stay alive. Magneto comes out as well. Meteor M to try and shut it down. A lot of damage going out. Digit's dance now. And it's both teams just staring at each other, but UTSA Orange is going to have the aggression. Big Eye of Agamotto gets canceled and shut down. Honestly, more unfortunate that it got canceled. Dying that quick from Just Joe is lucky. If you're UTSA Orange, you're going to wish that went off, because now that Strange is going to have it up a way quicker. But here we can see still UTSA. Harthian used that Strange ult one fight ago. Already has it up again. Balsheet with this Horn of Proteus. Darkest, though, important to note, has this Galactic... never mind, goes down with it. I was going to say, that could be pretty big right now. I'm going to find full supports, too.
Yeah, Harthian, well-placed ultimate, able to find that, giving UTSA quite the upper hand in that fight. 2 minutes left for the time bank of Northwood. They're starting to get held up a bit here by UTSA's defense. I'm wondering if we might have to see some swaps come through to really drive this nail in on the second point.
Yeah, I mean, possibly, or just a change in position. I feel like we haven't seen these teams too grouped. This could be a good Horn of Proteus flank, though, that we could see. Oh!
There it did come down. Sean gets picked up by it. And that will just be a quick reset for Northwood, as they are almost forced to just regroup back in spawn now.
Yeah, Harthian as well finding Squidbro on the way out. Oh, and Darkest not able to escape as well. And now we see, like you said, UTSA Orange really find their foot. A minute 20 left on the clock. Northwood has a lot of ults, building up to 6 of them. UTSA Orange with just a few less. I think Northwood might. They have a lot to work with here, but the question is what they do with it. Finds 3, but Luminosa's Cloak and Dagger ult is going to keep the team up.
It absolutely is. Sean using that Eternal Bond at the later half. Lumios will fall to Squidbro's Meteor M as the dance field is started by Digit. Fate of Both Worlds committed, keeping everyone alive. Darkest, Galactic Legend in the sky, looking for anything. Will end up getting picked by Harthian. Just Joe on the Magneto. Harthian with a quick Eye of Agamotto, maybe not the greatest positioning. They did commit it, but the fight will still go their way. As now Northwood has less than 30 seconds to make something happen here.
Yeah, and they committed 5 of their ultimates to that with nothing left to respond. And I mean, UTSA Orange as well, left with no resources other than the Sworn of Proteus. I am in favor of this Luna Snow ult, though. I think if they get aggressive with the damage side of that, that could be the game changer they need. But I mean, after that, they still have a significant portion of the second point to push.
Yeah, we do see the Namor off in the back there. BXAT and Balsheet trying to find each other. Darkest will find Digit, which is really a nice pick for Northwood. UTSA now down one of their strategists. It's Namor, Balsheet in the back, getting caught out. We will see if the pick comes through, as they are putting up quite a fight, drawing more and more members to the back to try to deal with this Namor. BXAT will finally find the pick. It is overtime now for Northwood. An Eye of Agamotto from Just Joe. Didn't find much. Lumios did pop the Eternal Bond as well, trying to find anything. It'll actually be Squidbro with the pick.
Yeah, we see the best of both worlds come out from Sean now. BXAT finding 2 Darkest as well. And it looks like Northwood, I mean, they don't have this cap yet. We might see a contest. I don't think so. I think that is going to be the second point in favor of Northwood in a very strong overtime fight there.
Absolutely. Like we said, their back was against the wall there. They used all 5 of those ults to really try to push. They didn't. They just had Faustus, and you know what? They made it work. Northwood able to build up some more ults, used it during that fight, and that will grant them the second point. Not too much time added to that bank, though. They will have to keep this cart pushing, as now they're drained down to just a minute left. Uh-oh.
We see
We know Balsheet's right around this corner.
sitting with this horn. Look get caught, though.
Using it, actually.
Finds no one. That's unfortunate. Agamotto comes out and finds no one as well from Harthian. We're seeing some unfortunate ults from UTSA right now. Northwood popping this Luna Snow ult is going to get aggressive, taking a lot of space with it too, but Balsheet on this flank Namor. I see why we banned, I think it was the Spider-Man. You don't need it when you have the right flank hero.
Absolutely. An Eye of Agamotto responds from Just Joe, but I don't know if it'll be enough. UTSA had ults of their own going at the same time. And that will be them running them off. 10 seconds now. Just Joe will have to get this portal down.
I think that's just one of those unfortunate times where the team might not get an easy contest. They're going to be staggered pretty quick on point. That's a good pick on the Harthian, though. Digit popping this ult just a little too late.
Evil finding 2 picks now. Meteor M from Achilles. Striking in the back line, not finding any pick just as a result. Horn of Proteus committed by BXAT there, unable to find too much. As now the regular shots will start to pick up some damage. 2, both duelists down now for UTSA. Northwood has to take this opportunity to push as hard as they can, get these picks, follow through as much as they possibly can. A Goddess of Death will do just that. As a pick onto Evil. forcing the dash out of Baljeet. Horn of Proteus comes down, but
no.
it's just too late as Northwood will finish the cap.
Yeah, that was a big hit, but no one there to touch the point, and we do see Northwood. I mean, that was a really good attack. Both of those second and third point overtime takes, especially second one. I mean, that was more than half of the distance in that overtime fight. Very impressive. And now we can at least guarantee a minimum or a maximum, I guess, of an overtime or a second attack, at least, assuming UTSA Orange is able to match that type of pressure. And it looks like they're going to be running a bit of a different comp, fairly similar, but evil this time. Instead of the Star-Lord, we're going to be opting for this Punisher. Important to note as well, no more thing. I mean, we were on this comp for a while, but I'm just saying we're now rocking with this double shield comp, as well as the long range damage we've been seeing with the Ellas and the Namors. But Evil has been the kind of the stray pick here with that Star-Lord and the Punisher. I think getting on that high ground, possibly getting a turret down could do work, especially if Darkest or BXAT is distracted, because that's going to be your hardest counter.
It absolutely is. This defense from Northwood looking to just shut out UTSA. Ideally, not even let them cap this first point. Send this to a map 3 where Northwood has a chance to redeem themselves. Right now, it is make or break for for Northwood. As if UTSA starts to take this quickly, could be looking bad. A portal was committed, I believe, from Hearthy, opening up this fight
really well.
I agree. I think that high ground placement is really good, especially with this Punisher now setting up the turret even.
And I mean, it looks like the teams are swapped sides. For a second, I thought Northwood was on the attack again, but we see them taking a nice low ground. Evil, though, does fall to Just Joe, and Harthian is just unable to get these picks. And UTSA Orange just starting to look split as the rest of the members fall.
And Just Joe is doing a really great job on that Strange, finding those picks. Now down to 1 HP. Achilles will find the melee through the shield. But will it be enough to get Northwood off this point? And I just don't think so, especially with those picks coming through. Baljeet in a bad situation. Now will be Northwood defending, sending UTSA back to spawn.
Yeah, no tick obtained. 230 now. I mean, they're on course, I believe, with what Northwood had. But, oh, that's a very nice pick. I don't even know how Darkest managed to get that pick on the hard team. That's going to slow down that Ivalgamoto, as well as just the push in general, especially with Baljeet getting caught out like that. That's going to be at least another 15 seconds before this team is together and pushing. That's just some great time, and that is exactly what you want to see from the Hela.
You absolutely do. I mean, picks like that just can't be happening early on in this fight. Final judgment from Evil. Horde of Proteus right in the middle. I'm not sure what prevented it, but the Meteor M will find the target. Darkest find Hearthian yet again. The Strange player for UTSA is forced to respawn again. We're seeing more ults committed. Meteor M. Digit did pop that invisible boundary, but Darkest found the pick to get it down right away. And that will be huge for Northwood. That is exactly what you want to see.
That is 4 ults. Hearthian, I mean, not having fun on that Strange, getting killed by Darkest every single time. Look at these headshots. Jeez, like, still, Hearthian with that Ivalgamoto swapping instead to the Spider-Man, teaming up with Achilles on the Venom, opting for a very high dive comp, like we saw in the very start of this, which didn't work out for them. Could be different, though, on an attack type format. However, important to note, they're running this Namor. BXAT is doing serious work. Will it work out for them? And it looks like it does. They're going to pick up 2 picks, one of which is the support.
Yeah, we did see Hearthian getting a lot of more aggressive on that Spider-Man. Did have something going, but not for long. The Horn of Proteus from BXAT we'll start to find picks. Actually, UTSA, Harthian, and Achilles responded with some great picks, and they will have this point cap, but Northwood will get this contest off, I believe.
Yeah, I think this heavy aggression is something that UTSA or Northwood was not ready for. Going to commit this portal, and that would have been huge, especially with that Eye of Agamotto. It's not going to work out. Amazing Spider-Man comes out, finding the supports, and that's really just going to slow down Northwood. And here we see Harthian and Achilles just causing some major issues in the back line. I think this is more so the proper answer, or the proper play style of this comp that we weren't able to see from it in the first map.
Absolutely, and I mean, Harthian, I'd like to note that swap, pick through the tree. I mean, I'd like to note on that one too. That was a good shot from Dark. But Harthian, realizing that the Strange just maybe wasn't working, making the swap to the Spider-Man, completely different role, but starting to do really good. UTSA's looking a lot stronger with this comp than they just previously were. Darkus has a target on their back from Harthian. A nice block from Just Joe will leave Evil not getting too much out of that Goddess of Death. Ults are committed. Squidbro with the Meteorem going for the distance. Not able to find the pick, as Balsheet will fall first.
Yeah, it seems like we're having a dogfight up here in the sky with these Hellas and the Star-Lords, that is. Harthian will find BXAT, and that might be the opening they need to keep pushing. That's a lot of pressure off of the tanks and the flank. Eye of Agamotto comes out. It's going to find 3, but Digit's going to pop this ult.
So did Lumios, though. That was a commit from both of them. You should be able to win the fight off of this.
True.
That is not what you want to see if you are UTSA with just a minute left on your clock.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking strong for UTSA now, but they have to push this point half the distance. No one's even on the cart. Pushing on its own. There we go. And we see BXAT with this Galactic Warrior. What's the name of that old?
The Legend.
The Galactic Legend.
Galactic Legend.
With no support to answer it. That's going to be basically free farming, especially Harthian. But maybe not. Yeah,
we see it come out from BXAT. But it won't be enough.
Evil is just going to keep that pressure up. We can see war coming from these triple DPS on the side of UTSA.
Absolutely, dude. Darkus even finding the picks behind Evil. An invisible boundary is a great response to that Goddess of Death from Evil. Northwood does have these strategist ults to commit. Digit's the closest up. And the picks are starting to come through. The DPS starting to shine for UTSA. Might be the saving grace that they needed, but Darkus trying to put the nail in the coffin with this Goddess of Death and Balsheet's Galactic Legend. They will be dueling it.
Cloakheart will come out, though. And now we see Northwood with not many ults left. The best we had was Squidbro, who's on cooldown. Ditchit will fall to Darkus. Darkus finds a second. Venom will come down with this ultimate. Darkus finding a third and a fourth.
Just on an absolute picking up Achilles.
And just when I thought we were gonna see this possible overtime take, Northwood and BXAT, I believe, on that Hella, just doing absolute work. I think that was that 4 or 5. Darkest it was.
I believe it was 4 secures, but I'm sure they played a part in all 6, honest. That was just great Hella play from Darkest. We see it there in the stats. The MVP shows it. I mean, no surprise. Constantly in that kill feed. 25 final hits. I mean, I could go on and on. Just great DPS play from Northwood.
Yeah, wait. I'm sorry, did Northwood win that map?
Northwood won that map.
Okay.
The first map went UTSA's way.
Oh, okay.
We will
misunderstood
have a, map
a tiny bit there, but yeah, we will Yeah, I'm excited to see. I thought that was over for a second, but then I got a little confused with the player names. But yeah, we see. I'm excited to get this map 3 because I was gonna say UTSA or Northwood definitely has a chance. We can see that considering they won the map. So yeah, both these teams are looking really strong right now. I mean, Harthian as well. I'm glad we could finally see this dive pump in action. Didn't work out just on this attack. Weren't able to get the execute, but Northwood definitely applying kind of the mistakes they learned from that first map, keeping up the pressure. But UTSA was looking pretty good. I liked this triple DPS they were running. I think it just came down to again, one of those last minute ultimates. We saw that on the first map again. I mean, it was neck and neck for a majority of that time.
It absolutely was. I mean, only coming out there right at the end, that push was initially looking good, or it was looking a little rough from UTSA, and then they made those swaps. We saw the Spider-Man, the Venom as well, that symbiote bond, and they started to pick up a lot of steam. But Northwood put on the brakes, shut them down at the second point, and because of that, we will have a map 3. And like we said, this is UTSA fighting for their spot, I believe, in our bracket for the playoffs. So, I mean, this is as tightrope as like cutting edge as you can get it for UTSA.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the team below them is playing or not. And I believe you lose rating when you lose a game. I'm
I
unsure
believe so.
specifically of how the ECAC's specific rating that they have for this tournament works, but they are only 4 points in the couple thousand that this is measured in, or a couple hundred at least, to go into 17th, I guess. So they are right on the edge. If they lose this, I think it's likely game over for them. So hopefully we will see them come through. But at the same time, we're also seeing Northwood battling for this top 12 spot, higher place in the bracket, maybe against some nicer teams as well. Definitely going to be an interesting overtime game. And like you said earlier, I'm unsurprised this is on a map 3 now. I think it's going to be exciting.
Absolutely. I mean, we could tell from the very first map, these teams were evenly matched, tooth and nail. They had to fight. We saw the overtimes in the first. We saw it in the second. It's going to come as no surprise when we see it in the. I think this could absolutely go the distance. Both teams capping all 3, having to get an overtime push for both teams. I think this will be one of the best matches to watch.
Yeah, something already we're seeing BXAT on this Moon Knight. I was just thinking that on last point. Typically, a big thing here and the game changers are these ultimates, and it feels like Moon Knight is really good in these overtime fights, just forcing the enemies off of this and almost always guaranteeing a kill on a support with that ultimate. And I'm going to say that, and now we're going to see the swap off of the Moon Knight, but there's still the chance. And that's something I like to see, as well as Evil on this Hawkeye again. I feel like we see this Hawkeye at the start of each of these maps, and it just doesn't work out.
Yeah, I mean, we see some nice picks come through, but maybe that's just in the beginning. Maybe that's just to set him back. But it feels like once the attack is aware of that Hawkeye, you're just a little more susceptible to that dive play. And we've seen UTSA, or I'm sorry, we saw Northwood giving it a shot. We should see what happens here. I'm not sure where Evil is playing, but likely going to want to get this nice sight line right down main, find some easy picks.
For sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, was just Joe in the last match for Northwood?
I believe so, yep.
Oh, okay. I'm just not used to seeing this thing pick again. They were definitely doing some work on the thing. I like this Wolverine pick from BXAT. That's going to allow them to get really aggressive, especially against these double shields. Going to work out a lot. And we already see Harthian falling. Losing a flanker like that, it's going to put a lot more pressure, a lot less on Northwood, allowing them to play up. Let their supports get up there too without the worry of the possible flank. And that's kind of why we see Northwood going uncontested. BXAT finding a great pull onto Balsheet and the execute as well. And it's looking rough for UTSA right now, just not able to find the space.
Not just yet, I mean, or the damage kind of getting walked at by Northwood right now. Darkest, yet again, finding those picks. It kind of comes as a surprise to me that we don't see a hella ban from UTSA going into this game.
That's true. I mean, we saw both teams running it, though, so they were both doing significant work on it. We saw picks going either way, it felt like, every fight with it.
Absolutely. I mean, maybe that's what they are banking on. Evil just having that pop-off potential, going just a little bit bigger than Darkest. We're seeing some shots come down there. Potentially could be a crucial factor in their comp that they just didn't want to get rid of.
Possibly a big clobbering time. A lot of ults now. We're on that point where everybody's in the 90s or has their ult ready to go. I think it's going to be a big ult fist come down here. So we have 2 come out already, 3.
Absolutely did. Achilles throwing that Meteor M just a little too fast. Will end up finding Darkest, however. The nice pick to have. Clobbering time did come down from Just Joe. I'm not sure how many have found. Invisible Boundary drops and Harthian takes to the sky. Galactic Legend feeding that Meteor M. I don't believe found anything, but did find Balsheet afterwards. As this fight will continue on cart.
Yeah, we're seeing a whole lot of picks. Not a whole lot of picks going either way. We do see BXAT find Harthian, actually. A whole lot of ults going either way, not finding much. Good pull on the support. Goddess of Death comes out from both Hellas. Inside of each other's coats now, just blocking each other with the view. Looking for these picks as the Magnetos and things are just punching each other on this point. And it feels like we're seeing a whole lot of punches being thrown. Not a lot of picks until Darkest finds a beautiful headshot onto Evil. And now we're seeing just maybe a little bit of momentum. Baljeet does fall, though, and I think that's going to be the opening for Northwood at this last point.
Darkest is absolutely threading these needles, finding these beautiful picks, these nice secure kills. Now even pushing up, getting a little aggressive. We see UTSA just taking the spawn swap, not falling victim to any late picks. Just going to regroup as a team and try to stop Northwood.
For sure. We will see the Spider-Man and this Venom come out again. Big difference, though, on the defense. I mean, they're not rocking with the triple DPS either. Just rocking with this dive on the defense. I think will be interesting, especially when they're running the Thing and the Wolverine. I mean, if you get caught out, you're going to have to do it right when they dive your team and just hope your team's able to stay alive. But I mean, it's working right now as they're pushing into the spawn. Harthian, 4 health, trying to get out. They do have the Snowflake, so they can get some healing, but oh, they're going to get caught out by Darkest. Yeah, that's just a tough situation to be in.
Absolutely getting caught there. Having a little bit of a stagger pick is not what you want to see. Digit falling as well to BXAT, as now Balsheet does as well. This Moon Knight starting to claim some kills, giving Northwood some nice space to get this cart pushing again. We'll get it around that first bend, but I believe UTSA will be there to defend the second.
Yeah, and we see this. Oh, I think that was a clobbering time that got canceled from Joe. He funded back to 50. Spider-Man comes out. Goddess of Death, as well as several support ults on either side. I think we're going to see a lot of ults coming out, but not many kills for a moment.
Not just yet, but BXAT with that elimination onto Lumios. UTSA will not have that invisible boundary in play this fight now. A second pick onto Achilles. Evil has to do work with that Goddess of Death. Found Sean, but I think that will be it, as Northwood can continue the push now.
Yeah, I feel like we're just seeing Darkest do so much work on this. Hella getting a little aggressive. It's going to stay alive, though. Just Joe as well. Yeah, I think we're seeing Northwood overextend just a little bit more than they should be right now. UTSA retaking their spot, and they're going to be able to use this Helen now with the getting rid of that the Venom as well. Back to the Magneto to mention that. Back on this double shield just wasn't working out, but I do think Harthian is just enough to cause that disruption. You don't always need that Spider-Man team up, but I think especially to disrupt the Moon Knight as well as the supports, I'm liking that defense. Minute 40 left, and Northwood is just looking for an early pick, but they just can't find it. Oh my.
Oh, in fact, UTSA will find the early pick. Harthian yet again on this Spider-Man, swinging in to start saving lives. Found one. We even see BXAT on the Spider-Man too now. Have a little bit of a Spidey off. We will see what kind of executes come down as a response. There we see it. BXAT responding with a pick. Clobbering time committed. A nice fate of both worlds, but we see the double support come out from UTSA again. This can't keep happening. They can't keep getting away with that. UTSA needs to make those calls a little more definitive. Both goddesses of death in the sky. Darkest versus evil. BXAT starting to find some kills too.
Spider-Man comes out though, only finds one, but that's a big DPS pick. Both Hellas down now. Big clobbering time, finding three. And find BXAT just short of that ultimate. And now that's going to give UTSA Orange back control of point. Just the supports on point for the most part. And that's going to be J Faustus down. 20 seconds left, and it's getting real rough for Northwood here on this attack. The XAT falling again now with this ultimate. 10 seconds left. It's all up to UTSA to hold this if they want to get a easier attack push, I guess.
Absolutely. I mean, right now you're just hoping that Northwood doesn't have anything else in the bag. Spectacular spin came out from BXAT, able to find two, and it's the strategist. Arguably the most important two to take down. Nice picks from BXAT. Northwood now in overtime. Very close to this last checkpoint. I think they will have it, though, before UTSA is able to contest. And that will be Northwood finishing the push, leaving it to UTSA for the response.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very close overtime hold from UTSA. And the one thing I want to mention is something that could have made a pretty big difference there is having that second support ult up. It's a pretty easy mistake to make to double stack those ultimates. It's just a reaction when you see a Meteor M flying at your head. You want to throw down your ult to stay alive. But unfortunately for UTSA, I think just a little more communication between the supports to prevent that from happening could have made the difference. Northwood, though, very impressive attack. I did really like BXAT swapping the Spider-Man almost in response to Achilles.
Harthian.
Harthian, yeah. To kind of match that energy and not necessarily do it better, but definitely had some really prominent picks.
Absolutely did, and we're actually seeing it hovered again now as Northwood will be on attack here, I believe. Or I'm sorry, Northwood is on the defense here. We're seeing the Spider-Man again. UTSA now on the attack. Harthian on that Wolverine. I'm liking it initially, but I think once Harthian would have seen just Joe and Squid Bro, they would have swapped anyway, making it quick and just swapping Spider-Man and Spawn.
Yeah, I think the thing it's not going to work against, and a Venom it's not going to work against. So I do think that is a good swap. Hopefully, the Spider-Man will get some more value, especially pressuring the supports as well. Immediately, a kill onto Faustus, and back onto Evil.
Evil's going to have a significantly closer spawn. But Darkest is going uncontested on this high ground. Finding 3 picks. Looking for more. Maybe overextending a little bit, though. Got off the perch, and Evil will find the pick. Sending them back to spawn. Harthian with a nice one of their own, too.
Yeah, now it just feels like we're seeing UTSA Orange make their ground, and Northwood's just trying to run backwards and get out. And I mean, with the tanks they have, it's pretty unsurprising they make it. But it feels like we're running a very dive-heavy comp from Northwood, however. On the defense, however, I think the help with Darkest on that Hela is going to do work when the rest of the team is distracted. It's just going to leave for a basically free farming target range, and that's what we see from Darkest, especially in that first point. But now we'll struggle a little bit more, though.
Both clobbering times committed. We see the fate of both worlds from Digit. The Meteor M from Achilles finds Sean, actually. A beautiful pick for UTSA. Evil responded with another, and Harthian. Now up massively in this fight. It will be the second point going UTSA's way fairly quickly. I don't know if it was as fast as Northwood, but certainly a blazing speed with a lot of time in their bank for this second point.
Yeah, very effective take there. Still 3 ultimates in the bank. And I feel like what it feels like each of these fights come down to are the Hela. Like, what phenomenal picks will the Hela find just like that? Evil finding Darkest. That's immediately going to relieve so much pressure from your supports. They're going to be able to play up so much further, playing aggressive. VXAT on the Star-Lord now as well. I think that's going to do wonders into the, again, I mention this every time. I think it's going to do wonders into the thing. Just free farming the ultimate, as well as your E is going to help a lot against the Spider-Man.
Oh, I believe Darkest had the lights turned off there. Harthian came up, swooped in, picks up a kill with the spectacular spin as well. But I think that will be it for UTSA. Northwood having this fight a little bit back. This cart is still pushing. Members are up. Balsheet falls after committing the clobbering time as BXAT takes to the skies. Oh, find Harthian.
Yeah, just outside of that invisible boundary.
See the Goddess of Death timed perfectly to let the invisible boundary fall and then help clean up those picks. And that will be Northwood pumping the brakes, stopping UTSA's push. Now for another 3 minutes. Strange portal,
yeah, gonna get a flank portal again. Once again, it's gonna seem like these teams have swapped positions. Ooh. And Darkest with, again, a beautiful pick onto Evil. Clobber in time, finds 3. Shield comes up as well, and that's a double stack ult from Northwood this time.
It absolutely is, in a spot where they arguably didn't even need both. They actually just needed probably that cloak and dagger, if that. They were already up in picks, I believe, especially with Darkest finding that opening shot onto E. I mean, like you said, I think it's coming down to these Hela first picks. Whoever's opening up these fights, certainly looking very strong.
For sure. However, almost every single one of these fights in tonight's match here has come down to the last-minute overtime ultimates, and I think that's something we're going to see again. Still 2 minutes on the clock. A beautiful Meteor M to find 2, as well as the last pick onto Just Joe. Meteor M finds nothing from Northwood, looking for answers. But most of the team's down. Your last support's down as well. Squidbro is going to be soon to follow. And I don't know if we'll be able to see a contest from Northwood. BXAT on this far flank, actually.
He absolutely is. I mean, way in the back. Will they be able to find anything as a result? Nope, just choosing to get out. Hopefully save that live, but they're still behind. I just realized I thought they took a route, but they did not. We're seeing UTSA pushing up with this clobbering time. Achilles finds Sean. Goddess of Death in the sky as well. UTSA pulling no punches here. The attack is looking fantastic.
Yeah, Balsheet getting some really nice haymakers in, putting up pressure. I mean, they were all the way up to this last point, kind of spawn door or last hold. They're holding up far, just getting as much distance as they can. They do not want to get stuck in these chokes. And now it's up to Northwood. to put this to a stop. I mean, they did get the full hold, but it'll be a much easier time on them to just put an end to it right here and right now. However, with how these teams have been playing, I wouldn't be surprised if we go into an overtime on this map. We'll have to see, though, as Just Joe falls early, although Darkest once again finding these beautiful picks.
Oh, there we see Evil taking down one of the strategists as Darkest will rise to the skies with that Goddess of Death to respond. Pick did come through, but Digit responds with one of their own. UTSA now putting on the pressure. Spectacular spin in the back. Sean did commit this Eternal Bond, as well as the clobbering time. And another double strategist commit from UTSA.
This can't keep happening.
Unfortunately. And there was only 2 members up, I believe.
Harthian you can thank for that. Finding both of the supports. Just the legendary left will go down, and that's going to be a team kill onto Northwood from UTSA with an extra minute 20 on the clock.
Absolutely is. I mean, UTSA maybe getting just a little lucky there. Harthian doing great work, finding those picks as well as Evil. Committing both of those strategist ults is just a scary situation to be in once they're finished casting, because then you are both out of anything until, at least a fight, maybe even 2. Northwood might have been able to respond there had they been up, but I think UTSA was able to storm it just a little too quickly.
Yeah, I mean, double support ult, scary to see, but right there, you really got to thank Harthian with that. I think that was both of the healers with one foul punch with that Spider-Man, and that is just something you love to see. Seeing Northwood swapping up their comp a little, something they knew they ran that worked pretty well from them with this magic. However, that was playing into a Strange, and with the help of a Psylocke on the flank in that first map. Going to be interesting to see how it plays on this specific map. I mean, you're a map player. Does she play well into this kind of map? I feel like it has a lot of high ground that can be hard to access.
It has a lot of high ground. Magic definitely has the mobility. BXAT definitely has shown the hero proficiency. I will 100% trust the pick. Me personally, it's going to be rough to play this high ground. We have Evil there, Harthian as well. Balsheet on the thing with that movement restriction is also very hard to play into. Darkest with a nice opening pick, however, onto Harthian. Might open the door a little bit for Northwood here.
For sure. Evil with a great pick on the Darkest. BXAT, though, back on Evil. That's a DPS trade. It's looking fairly balanced now as we see right where you want the magic to be, in the back line. Swinging on these supports, not able to find them. Gonna back up. Faust is falling low, but finding Harthian, that's both DPSs down for UTSA currently. That's going to allow Northwood to get aggressive. 10 seconds left. We're going to hit overtime over this final point, but we're seeing plenty of picks go down. I wouldn't be surprised if we get this first cap as Luminos as well falls. Again, like I said last time, I think every single fight is just coming down to these hella picks.
It absolutely is. Northwood now in a permanent overtime. They cannot leave that point. It will tick very quickly once they get off. Don't want to see any C9s. Evil going for a little bit of a flank here. Gets called out by Darkest. Finds that pick. Balsheet dashing right into the back. We're seeing these haymakers from Joe fall short as Harthian with 2 picks. The dash is huge.
I like that pick.
Absolutely, we have the ults.
A lot of ults coming down now.
Oh, it's looking colorful right now. I can't even tell you what's going on. Dance of the Butterflies from Harthian. I believe got responded by Jay Faustus, the invisible boundary.
Oh, those are some really nice picks from Squid Bro. Finding 2 invisible boundary comes down from Luminos, but it immediately gets taken down from Darkest to shut it down. Goddess of Death comes out now from Evil. Evil just not going to find anything. In fact, going to, I assume, die immediately to Squid Bro. Balsheet knows They're just taking a look at this Venom machine right now. They're not going up and taking that.
What do you want?
All they need is
Doritos,
one
M&M?
pick.
Yeah.
We see UTSA Orange commit 4 ultimates to that defense and lose it. It is looking so good for Northwood right now. UTSA needs to put a stop to this.
They absolutely do. Northwood has that clobbering time. Just Joe and Balsheet using them at the same times. I believe Balsheet's was a little bit bigger. BXAT with a nice pick onto Lumios. It gets responded by Harthian. We're seeing the things boxing around, but UTSA is still outnumbered on this point.
I mean, they're not down yet, though. Only a few minutes left for the second cap. Still, they push an absurd distance now. BXAT switching over to the Spider-Man off of the Magic, likely just for the contest. Dark is finding 2 picks again. These hella picks are just the game changers. Finding a third, Evil finding Joe. That's going to be the second point now in favor of Orange. Still in overtime. They step off this point, it's GG.
Absolutely. I mean,
Darkest.
riding that
Oh
all
my
the way
gosh.
from the first point. I mean, before they even had it capped, it was in overtime. I mean, this is all going wrong for UTSA. This is just a critical failure right now. They need to start to group up, push as a whole. Parthian found a pick,
That's
but gets
pick,
picked
though.
immediately.
Oh
Darkest
my
might put up the first
gosh.
triple-digit, round. This is incredible play coming from the Hella out of Northwood right now.
The best thing UTSA can do right now is just stock up on their ultimates and dump them on point. But they only have just a few of them. Harthian made a swap. Northwood, however, building up to all 6 of theirs for this last point, and it's just going to be an ult fest right now for this win.
It absolutely is. We see the patience coming down from Darkest, waiting just a little bit for that Fate of Both Worlds to possibly end from Digit. As there we see it coming up. Evil found Sean, however. That is huge to see the invisible boundary coming out from both teams. Evil will take care of Darkest. Achilles finds Joe. And now, finally, in the third point, UTSA will start.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, there we go. We'll stop the push from Northwood. Wow.
I was a little worried because of that Spider-Man ult from VXAT, but yeah, UTSA Orange does make that hold, but holy crap. I mean, Northwood, what it's amazing what the pressure of overtime in general can do to these teams. We see what they turn 7 minutes, 8 minutes of an attack into 2 minutes of overtime and like even longer, and it is just crazy the distance they get. And I wouldn't be surprised if UTSA Orange does the same on the attack. Both these teams are very powerful, crazy picks. UTSA Orange, I think their biggest blunder there was on that second defense. They were committing so many ults right when they didn't need to. Lumino, like, you're down 2 members. Luminos committed the invisible boundary, died outside of it. That's a very big mistake you can make as an invisible woman. You got to make sure you're inside that for the survivability. The Hella ult committed on the cart, full of the team. When you have no team, there's not enough pressure. And from there, the second point, they just didn't have much to work with until the very end in that ult dump. But I mean, looking at this, we see Darkest 52 eliminations is no shy number. Just doing absolute work, and really all it's coming down to are these phenomenal picks, these crazy headshots. And here we see both these teams running similar, but again, we're seeing this Hawkeye at the start, and I've seen Evil on this before, but we haven't seen anything too impressive yet. But hey, I'm all for it here on this attack.
Absolutely. Whatever UTSA is most comfortable with, they have to realize they do have the time advantage. Or they did, I should say. I mean, they pushed that point quicker in the first rounds. They were technically leading on Northwood. Now Northwood with a stellar attack. UTSA is going to have to respond with a near perfect play here. Sheet does find Joe. Picks going both ways. Darkest being the sentinel for Northwood, finding these picks.
I mean,
really good.
Right when I think UTSA Orange is doing good, they're getting some nice deep picks. You see Darkest just take this high ground and just kill half the team. Like, that is just insane. Evil punishing it, though, and I think that is the catalyst here in Northwood's fall. Without that DPS pressure, you're just going to let your team run down. You're not going to have the pressure on UTSA's, on UTSA's supports. And I think they're just going to get this second cap. It's just simply not worth it to kill yourself trying to contest it.
It absolutely
Big
isn't. They
clobbering
are
time.
just going to go for it.
Wow.
Lumios with the 2, Harthian and Evil also picking up the kills. UTSA still has time in their bank. You have to realize Northwood was in that permanent overtime at this point. They couldn't leave that point. We're seeing UTSA leaving it, getting a little aggressive. Don't want to stray too far, but still finding these really nice picks.
Yeah, I mean, the extra time bake's helpful and really not making much of a difference when they haven't died. But we saw at the start of that fight, I want to point out Balsheet with a beautiful 4K clobber in time. But now you're going to be down that ult. Northwood building up to 6 ultimates. Your team only has 5. By numbers, you should lose, but it comes down to how the ultimates are used and what picks they get. That's a huge one, though.
It absolutely is. Darkus doing a lot of work right now. Taking them out of the equation is huge. Sean will find the opposing Hela, however. All strategists, ultimates committed to this fight now. We do have BXAT in that Dark Child trying everything they can to find these picks. They're coming through. UTSA back is against the wall. They don't have much else left in the tank. And that might just be Northwood putting up enough defense to stop them in their tracks.
I mean, what a defense it was. What an attack it was as well in this overtime. I called it from way back, map 1. We were going to see a map 3 overtime, and here we are. Just absolutely beautiful game here. Darkest, I mean, what, 70 kills? Yeah, 57 kills is just absolutely insane. 38 final blows on this Hela. It felt like every single fight was a headshot from them. Hela 1v1, I not to put shade on Evil either. 52, only just a few behind, but still, the Helas doing the most work on either side of these teams, the absolute game changers, as well as the supports we saw from both sides. Some very crucial hiccups when it came to the double support ults that could have made the difference. But again, I think it just came down to the team coordination, the ultimate spam, and to top it all off, the picks that these DPS got at the start, and let alone in the middle of the fights.
Absolutely. Like you said, no shade to UTSA there. I mean, they played an amazing game. They took it to the absolute distance here. Northwood just barely scratching, clawing, fighting their way to this victory. I mean, props to UTSA for trying everything they could. Really hope this isn't the last we see of them. I hope we can see them in the playoffs, but for sure we will be seeing Northwood, and this team is looking really strong.
For sure, and just to say this, at least to shine a little light on UTSA's loss, looking at the scoreboard, that does put their record to 6-6, 50%. However, they are still in the number 16 slot. So they are, I believe, that it were 45 minutes past the end time, unless the team below them is actively in the game right now. I do think that both of these teams will be in the top 16. Specifically, I believe Northwood still in the top 12 as well, but still, both these teams looking really strong. They were definitely playing for their spots, and that was just a phenomenal game. I'm glad we got to see, and I'm hoping we can see more of them in the playoffs in the coming weeks.
Absolutely. A rematch between these teams in the playoffs would be electric. I mean, they brought the heat tonight, taking us all the way overtime map 3. I mean, like we were saying going into this, how evenly matched they were. We just knew it was going to be close. They made it close, a hell of a fight, but GG's to both teams. North will walk away with it today.
Yeah. And again, thank you guys for watching. GG's to all of the teams. Um, and yeah, I mean, I think that's it for the ladder. Important to
Mhm.
see. I mean, I think I can quickly just say a few of the top teams. Sac State going undefeated in number one, 22-0, followed closely by FIU Panthers Gold, 20-1, and then Panthers Varsity Gold, 18-2 for third place. Those are our top three teams. However, there's a lot more. You can see that on the ECAC Esports $1,000 Marvel Rivals Collegiate Open Tournament online at the website. Thank you guys for tuning in. And I've been your caster, Noah or Althea, joined by Inferno and our observer, Beldia. Thank you guys for tuning in over these past few weeks, and I hope we can see you guys in the playoffs in just the coming days or coming weeks, I guess.
Absolutely, absolutely. I believe that is it from us. Thank you all for tuning in. GG's to both teams and good night.